start that 3-minute countdown timer. Legs are silly, starting off with Retirement Home. And for this matchup, I think Retirement Home, this is just about them moving forward into the series after as well.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a point where we're looking at Retirement Home trying to get ahead. But for Legs are silly, this could be the beginning of the end. They need to start getting some wins on because you don't want to be going no wins into the second half of the competition.
I'm willing to say it. If Legs are silly cannot beat Retirement Home, then I don't think they can make the top 6. This is a really difficult stage.
Yep.
If they don't beat Retirement Home, I definitely think they're out of top 4.
Yep.
Top 6 makes it incredibly difficult because they need to take down like Love Decks, Jam Gaming, who are playing very well. So now they're on the back foot, they're on the ropes, and they don't have any more time to develop themselves.
And there's no easy competition anymore. There used to be a time where, there was 1 or 2 matches where you could safely say are in the bag, but when your easy matches are Jam or like Love Decks, there is no way you're going to walk away with an easy win.
Well, we're not at that point anymore where OCE is just this back behind region. We've gone to RLCS a couple of times, and this is our 3rd season competing. There is no time to fall short.
It's so hard for these teams as well. These are 2 teams, I think, there's some teams in this competition that are already looking at RLCS and saying, okay, we need to go really far. These 2 teams are saying, we just need to get there. And even Retirement Home, they've started to pick it up. They've started to get into some scrims, something that previously, as some more jokesters of the region, they weren't exactly doing. So they're starting to take it seriously as well.
That's really scary because you look at Retirement Home stats, they're really good players. Elusive with that 38% shot percentage when goofing around. That's like before they've gone into that full training montage. They're going to be terrifying.
Importantly, that was against Legacy where they lost 3-1, but they still had some brilliant stats. I guess somewhat given because they had an 8-minute and 5-second overtime last week, which you have to check that one out. That was huge.
That was game.
Days broke records in terms of number of points
His
for
own
a single
records.
game. Yeah.
700 plus. It's an okay score.
720 total. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
And Plitz, Sammy, and Zen, I don't think they've really found their sort of synergy, their stride. They've still got a few more weeks in them in terms of practice, but they don't have that time.
But you have to begin now being one of the only games for Legs are silly. And this week is going to show us where exactly they sit, because another loss to their name could be very dangerous for them. Yummy, we'll start with your prediction here in this series. And we have been talking up Retirement Home a little bit, so I'll be surprised about your prediction.
I think that Retirement Home are too good here. They've come through. They're not too worried about it still. But this is probably their one match which they're actually going to be a little bit nervous for, because they're going to be like, we can't lose.
On the line, Korea.
Retirement Home as well. I always back my boy Elusive when he's on game. And the fact that he's been practicing, Retirement Home all the way. It's a good question.
Maybe at this stage it's Legs are silly because they're in a very dire position. And I've had to back Retirement Home as well. If they're scrimming, if they're taking this seriously for the OCE Championship, they're a very strong team, finishing in the top echelon in the OCE Open Series. Now we're in the OCE Championship, a lot more on the line.
It's pretty crazy, right? The fact that I believe they were 4th in the Open Series with no practice.
Yeah.
And now, if you just put it in, all you have to do is scrape up 2 more positions and you're overseas.
To be fair, they only just scraped through in the Open Series. It was just getting ahead, but we'll see how they go.
Legs are silly, Retirement Home, Game 1 of League Play Week 2 here at the OCE Championship. And
getting ahead, but
it's a pleasure to bring it to you. Retirement Home, scrimming, how is it going to affect? And Legs are silly, everything on the line. Elusive, just going to pass it lightly. Plitz is actually centering it away. Days gets the first save of the game. Plitz coming with a slow drop here. And you can see around the side, Kia and Days actually positioning around this left-hand side. Elusive passing up. Days over the top as well. And Plitz will try and clear that one away.
Yeah, it was a nice gentle pop there. The things we want to be looking out for this game is Legs are silly typically have Plitz and Zen push quite far forward. And Sammy kind of being the glue that keeps the team together.
Kia with a nice air dribble will actually work out. And Plitz gets a clear cross field. And for Days, it's actually a really long pass. And Retirement Home, and they're going for the passing play again, slip that one through, and it's not even saved by Plitz.
Yeah, that's what we expect. Days, the man who pulls that 720 score, now pushing forward with his teammates, enabling the score.
Look at this passing play. I think Plitz was just not expecting that one, and too little, too late. First goal for Retirement Home, and they come off strong.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough start. You don't want to be starting behind against Retirement Home, because they're pretty clean when they want to play it that way, and Legs are silly. They are high risk, though, so I'm expecting to see very inflated scores on both sides.
Days on the defensive. We'll do a soft clear, but it's back over to Zen, and Sammy playing aggressively as well. Plitz runs up, and a great counter from Elusive will push the ball past, and it's narrowly saved by Zen, but you can see Retirement Home, they're putting on the pressure immediately, and with that one goal, they look comfortable. Legs are silly, put in a dire position early. You have to question Now they can hold out on this defensive, get these big clears, because now the ball is back in front of net, away from the goal square. Sammy sends it out. Elusive has a punch at that net, but it's hit up by Zen. Back to Elusive, and Zen will regain control with Kia coming in, and now back over to Daze. This corner will angle nicely, missing from the demolition, but it puts Plitz out of position, pops it up, and for Retirement Home, they're still keeping it in front of net.
Yeah, they play it pretty safe. They got nice, clean rotations for the most part, especially considering how little work they put into keeping them refined. And because of that, they can play relatively safe, knowing that someone will always be back in that third reactionary position.
Really good mechanical players from Retirement Home, and it's showcasing here in game one. Daze, as I say that, just runs into Kia. Kia now going to jump back up. This is going to be angled on the backboard. Not defended. Elusive with the angle, and should be the third, but Daze wasn't coming back up. No worries, they say. Silly on the offense. Good to see. Zen now going to push up as well. Positioning on that midfield. The ball getting cleared away over to Daze, and Retirement Home able to push back up as well over the top, but a good read. Elusive still not done with the ball, but Zen, however, sends it away.
That's the upside to being one of those speedy boys that likes to get around everywhere fast, as your defense can be fast too. Scary moment though, the follow-up coming through off the backboard. Still struggling to clear it out, but I think they're going to be okay.
This is a close moment again from Lexicilly, and having that offense, a shining light. Daze pops it down. Really good redirect, and a little bit scared there, Lexicilly. Immediately counterattack. That's a demolition, but on the wrong side, Zen will be halted back up the Plitz around this corner. 2 minutes 10 remaining. Game one for Lexicilly, proving to be exactly as expected. Wow, not the day for English. 2 minutes, that's a good angle, and it's sent it in.
Yeah, beautiful shot there. Smack bang in the center of the goal post. Unfortunately, they were unable to defend it. Plitz, though, great read off that corner.
Well, one goal, and that's great for Lexicilly to hold strong against Retirement Home, and now finally able to push out of their defense. This is what Lexicilly can do.
Yeah, they're really going to see some big plays coming out. Daze, very aggressive player. I expect him to start getting a little bit more confusing as he pushes forward and goes for a bit more of aggressive challenges now that they're fallen behind.
Demolition from Elusive helps clear the ball away and through. Daze centering it over to Kia. Directed to the other side by Sammy. Retirement Home, a team that has really showcased their individual talents. Now have to find a clean one, and off the crossbar, doesn't bounce in. It's sent away, and Elusive was trying to clean that up. A minute 30 and still 1-1.
Yeah, Daze just too quick to react then, not realizing it's going to have the perfect setup. Did cost him that opportunity, so sometimes a little bit of patience pays dividends.
Big clear over the other side of the field, matched by Plitz. Over to Sammy, pass through. Kia there, responds that backboard. Not going to be defended as it comes off the roof. Sends up to the ball. Daze off this corner will center it for Elusive. It bounces back down. Daze gets a better touch off it. Sammy misses it, but it's still cleared away. Yeah,
good clear as well, getting it straight past the defense. Retirement Home not ready for that rotation back, and it's costing them possession as they now fight in the mid.
Zen over the top. Kia here. Pops it in front, but Plitz has the banger of a shot. Away by Elusive. Retirement Home getting put on the defensive. The speed getting pushed up by Legacy. Off the backboard, Sammy has the boost to knock it in, but it's blocked by Daze.
Yeah, Sammy, the rookie added to the roster, has been a great addition, and it's really pulling the two very aggressive players of Lexicilly's line, Plitz and Zen, together in a way that works nice.
Retirement Home keeping the ball down the side of the field. This is the shot, angled in, perfectly done, but now there's only one person in defense. Plitz with the runaway. This could be great for Lexicilly, but Elusive sends it back down. Sammy bringing the play into fruition. Off the backboard, Plitz over the other side. Lexicilly feel like they're playing with this offense. One last play at that. But 10 seconds remaining now, they might just have to get it away.
Yeah, the final opportunity, the shot is on. The final defense, though, comes from Zen and locks out the clock.
But still, Retirement Home, they've kept the ball up, and Plitz able to go over the top, but there's the shot again. Overtime it is.
It's pretty tense. Don't know which way this is going to go, with Retirement Home not having that edge that everyone here on the desk thought would come through.
But I think Lexicilly definitely starting to speed up this game and gaining more control of the ball. Zen, speaking of which, loses it. Sammy reaches up and knocks it away, but off this corner, it'll be angled in front of net again. Daze with the left-hand touch as it goes away from that net. Sammy boosts it over to Zen, up to Sammy, the passing play. Really good mindset here from Lexicilly, and it was a close call.
Yeah, smart play, just the execution a little bit shaky, but when you're on that big game, we talked about how important it is for Lexicilly. You can see how the pressure can get to them.
This early in the competition, game one is so damn important, and especially this series where every game counts. Lexicilly, they do not want to have a short run in league play, but instead Retirement Home They find a banger to take game 1.
What a sick play by Elusive. Look at that. His whole team was stuck in a bad rotation. He was able to get a huge clear, which then he picked up himself, could follow into a goal. Not only stopped them scoring, but enabled himself to score in the process.
Well, Retirement Home, they take game 1 and a clean, not so clean victory, you dare say. Felt like Retirement Home definitely read the play in overtime, but for Legs of Silly, there were these signs of life I think we'll be interested to see throughout the series. Yeah,
I think it was definitely a case of Legs of Silly had a lot more control than I thought they would in the midfield, but they didn't have the opportunities that Retirement Home had to score. So it's just a matter of time before Retirement Home eventually got one in.
I think for Retirement Home, this will be a bit of a wake-up call in the series because that was not the convincing play we need to see from them when they go up against Tainted in the next series.
I think they played it a little bit safer than they typically would.
Maybe.
We saw that Daze was a little bit slower to the ball than we normally see from him. He's pretty aggressive. I would say confusing at times because you don't know how he gets there so fast or where he comes from. Tries to blindside you a lot of the time. I think as a consequence, he kept the score down.
Potentially, and I think that if they're playing at that pace, maybe Legs of Silly can capitalize big here. When they started speeding up the ball maybe to more of their usual tempo, then Retirement Home were like stuck in defense. They couldn't move.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a situation where they didn't want to take as many risks. We know that Retirement Home can rotate reasonably well, and because of that, I think they just played a little bit safer. We saw Elusive getting that huge clear, and that kind of forced the team of Legs of Silly to go a little bit further in, and that's how Elusive managed to move the ball up entirely on his own and then beat them to it to score.
I think as we jump in this second game, there are going to be question marks over Legs of Silly, whether they can really build up that tempo like they were in game 1. But not only that, but force Retirement Home into a corner. And Retirement Home, when they're not comfortable, you can see that they get shut out. Game 1 goes over to them, but can they keep the consistency? That's a shot on goal immediately. And maybe things are looking better and better for Retirement Home.
Yeah, it was a good start to the game. You want to go straight into the aggressive half of Legs of Silly. They're a team that's really strong on offense when they start running away with it. So if you can lock them on defense when they're not as comfortable, and it's not really their choice, you got to do okay.
That's right. Well, now Legs of Silly angling it over into that backcourt. Zen play back. Blitz is here, passes up, it's going to go straight to Daze. Sammy steals it away, hits the roof. It's great for Plitz.
Yeah, follow-up from last game. Plitz getting that early dunk in will give them the chance to just push harder and harder. I mean, the Retirement Home won't want to take the risk.
Sammy getting to the ball first, winning out that challenge. This is great. Legs of Silly, 1-0. Only 30 seconds has passed.
Yeah, that's the core advantage Legs of Silly has. They're very quick when they want to go full guns blazing. And if they can take advantage of that, hopefully not opening up the net in the process, they're going to be okay.
On defensive, and Retirement Home's Daze has just lost the ball. Zen takes it over, blitzes up for it as well, drops down, and Sammy punches it over to this right-hand side. As it gets pinched over to the other side of the field, again, Retirement Home, they find themselves on the defensive, and Legs of Silly starting to have these, again, big signs of life that we've been waiting for them to see. And against Retirement Home, then have to ask where do Retirement Home sit if they cannot take this series, but it's only game 2. Retirement Home still lead by 1. Now on the defensive, Legs of Silly pushing the ball up. This is a good dribble that sends up to Daze. As the demolition comes through, maybe it halts Zen, but Sammy, he's going to be able to punch the ball up here, take it himself, look for the bump in goal, opens things up for Blitz, and the rotation won't come through, so now Retirement Home just going to clear the ball away.
Yeah, good read there by Kier, knowing his last man left, goes up for that challenge, stopping the aggression. And the follow-up, the backboard has been touched. Does the goal come through? Yes, it does. Kier scores.
And that was Korea, as we both saw it. A big opening for Retirement Home. They capitalized big. The bump coming a little bit too late. Now Retirement Home straight back into a comfortable position, I dare say.
Now the equalizers come through. It's reminiscent of last game.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Now off kick-off, Elusive playing with the ball. Actually, almost gets a pass blitz sent around the corner. And at 3 minutes 15, Retirement Home still holding strong. And those of you tuning in, you don't normally see this Zen almost getting big with that ball. And Retirement Home, they'll clear it away. Not often you see that. And it's a little bit unlucky from Zen, but Blitz going to try and recover this in a big, big way. Zen's up, hits the ball into the corner and back around. And I was going to say, if you haven't actually watched Retirement Home or Legs of Silly, these are some of our mid-tier teams. When you look at the top 8 in OCE, Legs of Silly sitting in that 7th, 8th position, really, in one of our rankings. But Retirement Home have the flexibility to go anywhere. And now they have to show it against Legs of Silly. Elusive's actually just run out of boost, and means Daze has to come in and recover this one. Elusive going to get the small pads and try and recover as quickly as possible, but Retirement Home getting forced on the defensive once again. The clear will end up coming from Days, but 2 minutes 20 remaining, and something's got to give for either team.
Yeah, great touch there by Days, realizing he's going to come down, still able to contest it, and the backboard defense from Kia is going to allow them to take possession back and hopefully clear it out of their half.
It's like the communication channels are a little bit more open for Retirement Home this week, and Sammy tries to go over the top of Elusive. Ball's given back to Retirement Home. Days with the angle into the shot, and Zen will read it well. Sammy around this corner, bounces the ball, but Elusive on top of it he goes over to the corner, missed by 2 players, means it goes straight back to Retirement Home in front of net. That was a play you're expecting to see. It bounces back. Zen narrowly saves the ball.
Yeah, but it's not over yet. They're going to keep the pressure going as they're continuing to rotate. An unfortunate boost spawn has meant they had to go back.
Zen pushing the ball forward. This is going to be the pass over into that corner, and Sammy just goes over the top of it. Blitz around here, brings it to a standstill and ends up winning that small challenge, but beating out the ball is the least of his concern as they're immediately put back on the defense. A Retirement Home team that has shown so much prominence. They don't look like they're absolutely cleaning up. Legs are silly. They feel like they're struggling a little bit. Here's the play again off the backboard, and although it's not defended, the bump there, well-timed. Legs are silly. Maybe able to push the ball back up.
Yeah, they're going to have a good opportunity. We have seen the entire Retirement Home roster. Ooh, opportunity there, but unfortunately didn't have the angle. And now they're just going to lose possession as Retirement Home pushes forward, using all the boost they picked up.
This is a 1-2. The Sammy's going to be the third. It's going to be a small drop, and Zen just leaves it. You see that Legs are silly starting to get, as I like to say, creative at this stage of the game. 45 seconds remaining. Retirement Home. The fact that it's only 1-all, I think is really, really good to say about Legs are silly. It might not be for long because Plitz, he's found the gap.
What a feels bad moment there for Elusive. We saw it from his perspective, just didn't have the boost, but it doesn't matter because Legs are silly, doesn't care if you don't have the boost, and he takes a goal.
Well, Legs are silly up ahead with less than 30 seconds. Sorry, that's more than 30 seconds to go. But game 2, it's quite curious because Retirement Home might not be all it's cracked up to be, but I tell you what, Legs are silly. Really good play here for today. Better than what we saw last week, better than what we saw in the qualifiers, which was a narrow qualifier for them. Now 15 seconds left on the clock. Retirement Home on the defensive, but Legs are silly. They've got to be careful because they've just committed 3 members to this ball. Everyone back like a brick wall. Sammy will not get the clear. It's pinched out of the corner. Days drops it down. It's still in front of net. Kia's there, angled in, needs to be cleaned up, and does at 1 second left to go.
Your boy Elusive there is there to finish it off. 1 second left, and they got past the bulwark that is the Legs are silly's defense with 3 men just sitting there. Doesn't matter.
Calculated by Kia, finished up by Elusive. It's 2-all, 1 second to go, and as this ball gets touched and kicked off, it is going to go to overtime.
Straight over Sammy's head.
Well, Legs are silly game 2. They came so close, but Retirement Home hold on. And really, you have to question how Retirement Home are going to manage to set themselves up like that again. Get the freedom. Couple of demolitions cross field, but it won't matter as Retirement Home get that clear. Following up the ball is Days, Elusive, and Kia, all on this left wing. Elusive with the double tap off the wall. And that is why Retirement Home look clean at times.
Yeah, he is having an amazing day today. Elusive picking up another one, running it past that off the backboard touch to finish out the game. Another comfortable overtime finish.
Elusive has just been coming out of the woodwork strong here today, as you said. 2 games. Legs silly coming so damn close, but Retirement Home just managed to find a way to push through.
Yeah, they're doing pretty okay. I think Elusive getting his runaways has really helped.
Pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
They're doing pretty okay. I mean, a win is a win, but I agree, pretty okay.
No, they'd be happy with it. I think the Retirement Home being able to pass like that is just a testament to the fact that they can just destroy anyone if they're doing well. Yeah. But I want to see more of it during the game, during the midfield, trying to get to those positions. Because once they're there, it's beautiful, but it's the process of getting there that's hard.
Which is an issue because when you go up against a team like Tainted Minds next, you have to have that refined play because Tainted Minds, although some would argue at the moment aren't in, relatively great form.
Last weekend they weren't, but they've had a week.
But yeah, anyway, that's something we'll delve into a little bit later. I think for Retirement Home, they have to start looking at the possibility that, okay, we've got 1 game left. We need to refine before we go into the monstrous powerhouse of Tainted Minds, the RLCS team. I think for Retirement Home, a lot of questions will be asked, but how many can get answered.
So what you're saying is they should throw the next 2 games, get some more warm-up time before Tatum Mines and win it 3-2.
He's got it. He's got it.
Get that 2 extra games practice.
Wow, that's so tactical. I love it.
That's what it is.
No, but for Legs Oceania, you know, for them to take it to a Game 5 is going to mean they step up big, and they have in parts of this series, and I think it's just really shown their improvement and their growth in the OCE Championship so far, but a bit more needed at this stage in the game. And Game 3 means that we are going to see Retirement Home on match point, and a good start, a 3-0 where every point counts, doesn't matter. Blitz gets the first goal.
A little bit awkward there. Normally when you see someone up on the wall, they're ready to receive it, and they pass back to a teammate, you think they're going to be in a great spot.
Blitz,
He's a speedy boy.
He gets the middle boost, and he just runs rampant. 5-second goal. Legs are silly. They just find a way to break through the defense, and it's where these highlights lie. Zen actually off kickoff will hit the crossbar. The second time Zen has hit the crossbar in this series.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there.
I think that for Zen, it's going to be a good clear away. Actually, after the demolition, could have broken through. Retirement Home going to punch it down midfield. Zen misses the ball. Blitz recovers on that one. As it bounces in front of field, Zen actually going to punch it over the top, and Kia, as he reacts, it means Sammy has to get back down to the ball, and Sammy's been having a pretty good series. We've talked about elusive on Retirement Home, but I think for Legs Oceania, Sammy's definitely been the standout so far.
I think he's the glue that kind of brings the team together, and that's why you can see him in a bit of a prominent position, because he enables his teammates to do really cool things.
4 minutes left to go. Game 3, Retirement Home, still a goal down, but pushing on to that offense. Retirement Home now. Defense begins. Kia has to clear the ball away. He's run out of boost and gets a big clear. Blitz is able to match it. The pass is there, but not committed to by Sammy. And elusive now. This is going to be straight to center for days, and intercepted by Zen. That was a much needed touch. As Retirement Home, they find their weakness. They find their entrance. Sammy will come off the backboard and ready to set up. Blitz is here as well. The goal shooter, Legs are silly, punching down strong, and Zen is blocked. Legs are silly, having some good moments in the offense.
Yeah, and that's where they want to live. They're a team that is really good at shooting, very, very quick, aggressive players. So if they can push past the midfield and take opportunities like these, they're going to score just like that, Blitz.
A big opening, and that ball was just left, dropped, and rolled. Look at this, 2 seconds, no one at the ball, and Retirement Home, that's going to cost them 2-0 up for Legs are silly.
We've seen Retirement Home come back from the 1-goal deficit, but 2 goals is a big difference, with the highest score this series only being 3-2.
I think Retirement Home really need to look at how they're playing here in the series, and Legs are silly pushing up, capitalizing on these mistakes. Sammy hits the backboard. It's not contested, means Plitz, for some reason, hands it back over to Zen. Back to Plitz. 1-2. The 3 blocked out by Kia.
Yeah, Kia's doing a great job holding that defense exactly where it needs to be, away from the goal.
Zen, he's got up for the ball. Plitz has pushed through once again off the corner. Zen has enough boost. Kia, soft clear, reacted by Sammy over the top. Excuse me, the backboard. Not the impression, but Zen comes in with the angle. Plitz, well read by Days.
Yeah, good time to spawn as well, just seeing the boost to one side and seeing the ball coming from the other, and enough time to get both.
Look at this, Legs are silly. They have not come off the offense. Really good rotations that are being matched now by Retirement Home, but signs of life continue to show with Legs are silly. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. The push through again. Plitz is here off the side. They have to get it the heck out of there. Retirement Home, they might drop themselves a game or maybe more. As Zen comes through with a challenge. Ball's over the top. Sammy reacting well. Talking about the glue for this team, and now the pass over to Days. But Retirement Home, they can't seem to make anything work, and Legs are silly, keep on pushing it through. Finally past Plitz, but not over Sammy. And this is the issue. Legs are silly, having so much fun in this side of the field. Plitz has centered it past, and Kia will be the one to react.
Even though they haven't managed to score with over minutes of offense into Retirement Home half, they've burnt so much time off the clock, holding that 2-0 lead. They could just lock out the game doing this.
Feels like it's going to be a struggle for Retirement Home to really come back, but now pushing through. Big counter clear from Zen. Smacks it down to the other side of the field. Sammy, he's reading his ball so well. In fact, this is great for Plitz if he can get around to it. Pulls back and enables Zen to maybe just play that defensive game as he's been doing over the top. Elusive. Only just got up for the ball.
It's got to be feels bad, right? You're at home and home, you're sitting in your half, you haven't gotten out for nearly 2 minutes, and every time you do, Zen gets the exact clear you need to be safe.
Legs Silly still pushing, still coming through strong, and Days actually getting a massive clear to be reacted by Sammy. And we talked up the rotations, or at least I did, for Legs Silly, and still pushing through. Shot after shot. Retirement Home on the defensive, and it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. Elusive. The 1-2, how do you do, ends with door in the face. That's what happens when you walk into a telemarketer on the street. I don't know. 40 seconds.
Why do they have a door on the street?
I don't know. I was thinking telemarketer at your house, and then I thought, you know what? You normally see telemarketers on the street, and then I'm thinking, no, that's Jehovah's Witnesses. So obviously in Australia, everything's upside down.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But 30 seconds, I think, Retirement Home. Now we have to look at how this series is going to go with Legs Silly finding a game, finding room to breathe. They start the reverse sweep. And at this stage of the game, you got to say that Legs Silly, they can definitely handle it. I'm concerned that Retirement Home might be getting caught out here.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a growing pain that comes from whenever you started doing new strategies, changing up your style a little bit. There's always some toothing time where you drop some games you're hoping you wouldn't, but ultimately you get further ahead.
But for Legs Silly, this is the start of the reverse sweep. This is a good sign of life. I like saying that because especially for Plitz and Zen, who have been together for ages, sometimes there were those growing pains. There were those issues with how they interacted with each other. And I think Sammy adds quite a lot to the team.
No, Sammy's great for the team. I think that was a great show of how much they've developed as a team moving forward. Legs Silly in particular, with that pressure play. Like a lot of times we saw before, it would be Plitz run forward, Zen run forward, sometimes they'd collide. Regardless, one of them would always try to get to the ball first, and they get there pretty fast most of the time. The downside was their rotations could be left in shambles by two of them playing so fast and so aggressively, leaving Sammy to kind of pick up the pieces, which is why we call him the glue a lot of the time. Yeah, holding the pieces together. But I think...
I got. Thank you so much.
Got you back. Just in case, though. Just in case. Yeah, but I think the thing that's really changed that I've noticed is how long they can hold that pressure play for. It was like 2 minutes or so where they're just locking Retirement Home in their half. And if you're a team that can sometimes double commit or doesn't have that tight rotations because too many of you want to move forward and cheat into their half, you should drop it. But they didn't. And that shows development.
Decision making is so crucial for Retirement
it's
Home.
a lot smarter play.
But Retirement Home are not showing that. Retirement Home we saw in week 1. They're definitely not showing the qualifiers and even the OCE Open Series where we saw these great moments, the 1, 2, 3, and setting up days for success. Legs Silly able to come up big with a game win. But now, how much further can they take it? Game 4 is about cementing that win for Retirement Home or Legs Silly starting their RLCS journey off. Sitting at the bottom of the table at the moment. Sammy tells it to stop, and Plitz finds another one through. What's going on?
They're just too fast. Legs Silly are just beating them to the ball, enabling themselves to get pass plays in their opponent's half because they're just that much faster.
This is a dangerous moment from Legs Silly. This is a moment where they switch on and Retirement Home, they're caught back on the defensive again. 1-0. This is a great turnaround.
Yeah, the big passes that have been able to come out of Legs Silly in the Retirement Home half is filthy. And the other side of it is, if they're moving that fast, they're pressuring Retirement Home in a way that won't enable them to get big clears most of the time. And I think that one that we saw there is one in a many.
I think especially...
In a many. Wow.
Speaking... No, Korea, it's fantastic. And look at Kia. Yeah, under the pressure, succeeds. But it's backing off. And aggressive has become this Legs Silly offender. And Plitz, as he punches his way forward, is going to set it up, and Plitz is coming up so fast, so quick. Sammy there, always setting it up. It's a great pass to center field, but for who? As Elusive takes a shot. Elusive now going to be backed up by Kia off the backboard. Zen defends well. It's in front of net, but it's punched up to the right-hand side, and obviously it's an aggressive game, otherwise I wouldn't be saying punch this much. Sammy gets the double tap, and that is the angle which Legs Silly were looking for.
It's not just Plitz that can get those big plays. Sammy, the rookie as well, has been a great addition, not just defensively, but offensively too. He can score and make things happen.
Nicely done by Sammy. And with the help of the defense of Retirement Home, now Legs Silly up 2-0. This is going really, really well for a team that we may have discounted too soon.
Hear me out, Hysterics.
I always listen to you. Continue.
Maybe they're trying to get that extra game time before Tainted Minds.
Nice. So you're not wrong, career and retirement home. I don't know about you, but this does not look like a comfortable, we're just going to play around team.
No, this is not playing with your food. This is the food eating you.
Yeah, this is definitely retirement home in some strife. On the defensive once again. Control coming through from Legs Silly, and League Play 2 has really just pepped them up to an extra level. Retirement home defensive continues, I beg your pardon. So 3 minutes. Legs Silly trying to push the ball through. Zen with a light pop. Oof. Some surprise tactics coming through from Legs Silly, and another one from Sammy.
Yeah, just running it through. We saw that beautiful pull up where he took all the defense up into the air, allowing Sammy to sneak his way under and get that open goal.
That was really nice, in fact. Sammy hitting that angle. 3-0. What is going on? Legs are silly. This could be an upset in itself, and although Retirement Home, they're not a top-tier team. In fact, you know, they are top 8.
They could be, though.
But they could be, that's right. And Legs are silly, proving how tight our league play really is. Remember we talked about that pyramid last week, Courier? Well, it's been thrown upside down, and I honestly think that our league play is just so damn close. I wouldn't discount anyone, at least anymore. There's going to be an opening for Kia, and he should be able to find him, but Plitz is there in time, and it's these moments from Legs are silly, just being on top of the ball that is making them so damn comfortable. Then reading that ball, hits the side, and I think Legs are silly. As soon as all 3 members step up, it's a very different team.
Yeah, they're pretty scary when those pressure plays come out. And the fact that Sammy knows now when to come forward to help back up his team enables them to just hold it for so long. And he can shoot. A rookie that can come into the roster and shoot really well is a great addition.
I've noticed Daze has been staying back as well, more so than normal, and maybe a little bit of change in play style. Daze over at Elusive. Elusive back up again off the corner, now centered, and Kia waiting patiently. Daze coming up for the ball. Rotation needed to be seen. That was a bump, and this should be open if Kia can set it up for someone from Retirement Home, but they can't clean it. This is a big problem. Legs are silly. They're holding out, and they're holding out big, and right now you can see why this is a good center, but it will not be capitalized. Still wasting time. Legs are silly. They got 3-0 up at 1 minute 20, and I think we're going to game 5.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a game 5 with only 1:11 left on the clock, and we haven't seen too many signs of life out of Retirement Home. I don't think Legs are silly could possibly drop the ball in a way that would allow them to catch up.
Pass is over. And Retirement Home. What does this mean for them? Well, it means that they could potentially find themselves in a much lower position than anticipated. Good pop-up from Sammy. We'll set it up for Plitz, and the nail in the coffin's been pushed. We're going to game 5.
Yeah, the fat lady's starting to walk out on stage.
And this is just fantastic, and the fact that Legs are silly can make these powerful plays in the heat of the moment. Something in the past couple of weeks were like they can't adapt on the fly. I think we've seen the adaptation firsthand, and for a team that has been struggling so much,
Oof.
I honestly think that this is the start of good things to come for them. Find a win against Retirement Home, and because Legs are silly, this is their only match of today, then next week, you know, with that same mentality, maybe things are different.
Yeah, a lot of time for growth as well. If this is a change we can see after 1 week, Yummy talked about how time is going to be their greatest enemy. Well, they're using it well. Like, if they can make this much change in 1 week, imagine what they can do in 2, 3.
I think for someone like Sammy, who is coming into the scene as a true rookie, and for him to perform this well and set up Zen and Plitz, maybe, like you said, that is the glue that they need. And Retirement Home is struggling to get through this defensive Legs are silly. I knew I'd do it again.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how many shots Retirement Home managed to pull this game, because Legs are silly locked them out last game. It was pretty much just one-sided, both on the scoreboard and on the actual, you know, points. There's a scoreboard as well. What's wrong with that?
5-0 career. This is a convincing game 4 as we head into game 5. Let's not forget that Retirement Home next. They take on Tainted Minds. Now, put yourself in the position of one of these players and say, how would I feel if Legs are silly, the potential 8th seed, came in and took us down, and then we have to go against a powerhouse who went to RLCS?
Yeah, you'd be hoping that Tainted Minds was having another off week.
Well, no, you don't want to hope that. You want to hope in your own performance, right? You want to put stock in your own performance. Like, whether Tainted Minds are good this week or not, I guess it doesn't matter. How are we going to perform as a team? Retirement Home at the moment, they will not be happy with their performance because Legs of Silly are damn happy with theirs, and they're looking good. Retirement Home are really struggling to get off the ground.
Yeah, good is definitely what they're looking with. Sammy coming with 8 shots that game. He's a rookie. He's never done league play before. That's a pretty good showing for the first couple of weeks.
But Sammy had a couple of goals himself. This time, instead of just setting up, he was one enabling those goals to come into his back pocket. I'm impressed with, I think, Zen and Plitz rotating a lot smoother this week.
Yeah, they're a lot cleaner. They're not in each other's way and allowing each other the breathing room to go forward and make the plays. And I think that's what we saw last game more, where they could just lock it out. And a lot of the times they would have normally pushed forward deeper, potentially gotten the goal, but definitely risked all the pressure that they'd built up and just seen that huge clear. They'd be like, Sammy, please clean that up.
I think the difference in this last game, in Game 5 against Retirement Home, is Zen stepping up. Zen has been playing, I guess, more consistent than usual, but how much further can Zen go? And Game 5, who's going to take it out? Legs of Silly have just come back into the series huge. I didn't think we'd get to a Game 5, but no one's in defense. Well knocked away by Plitz, but Kia should be able to pop it up. Elusive a little bit short to the ball, and Days will have the shot, but good signs of life, as I like to say, from Retirement Home.
Definitely got enough practice time before Tainted.
Back into the ball, and now Legs of Silly. Opportunity to strike as the offense is punched down the demolition, and Days was the last member of defense. Zen pops it up. Kia, he's going to be able to rotate onto the ball, and Sammy playing slow with all 3 members of Retirement Home around this corner. Pushing the ball back up. Zen, he's been hanging back a lot this game and has been doing quite well in defense, and maybe that's all that's needed. Zen bringing it back up. He's taking the run himself, and Sammy will play the ball, but it goes over the top. So it brings it back down. Game 5, Retirement Home. This could be the difference for them, and now again, with Sammy, Zen comes in, Plitz hits it against the wall, it rolls up, and then back down. Sammy is going to center it cross field, over to Plitz, brings it back in. Zen is up for the ball, it hits the roof, and it was angling in, very, very close. We're still punching away at that net, and we cannot be stopped, said Legs of Silly. Sammy is going to be denied the ball. Korea, it's interesting because still reading the ball quite well from the side of Legs of Silly.
Yeah, they had a great opportunity there. They got every single side boost in the middle of the pitch for the first minute and a half.
Looking the ball back, a very confident pass from Days will mean a big, big clear. Days now slow around the corner, but Plitz gets there first. Look at the speed on that ball. Elusive will try and match it, but Sammy is lurking down for the hit. Over to Zen. Actually, Plitz takes it first. Days hits it on the backboard. It rebounds all the way to Sammy. Back on down. Kia diverts it over to this corner, but Zen is able to center it, and it looks like Legs are silly, although Retirement Home are getting some good touches, running laps over this ball.
Yeah, they're just not getting the touches to get out of their half, though. And we're just seeing a recurrence of the third game where we're slowly having the pressure of Legs of Silly build as they start pass plays into your half, hoping to bleed you a boost.
Sammy's there, Zen with the shot, defended by Days. The first goal could be all it takes. The upset of Legs are silly. That's a great angle. Sammy gets it.
Yeah, what a beautiful read as well, threading that needle into the top right of the goals off this huge play that they've been building and building and building, and it finally cracks the nut and scores.
That was a snipe if I've ever seen one. Sammy into that top corner, now leads 1 with the rest of Legs are silly. This could be the start. Legs are silly. Sammy is in fine form. Dare I say this man is really the cause, but Retirement Home finally getting the ball, but no freedom and no rest for the wicked for Retirement Home.
Yeah, it feels bad, man.
Well, look, to a degree, career, but I think Retirement Home now able to push the ball out. The demolition is there, and solo plays. Plitz the 1-2. Sammy's up for the ball. It hits the backboard, opens it up for Zen. It's a really soft shot and a little bit unfortunate, but now Kia dribbling the ball down the field himself. He'll still win it over. Cleared away, but Zen, he's been counteracted, and with 1 minute 50, Retirement Home, they find a slot.
Great read there by Kia, getting back around the pitch fast enough to finish off this shot, bringing it to that 1-1 and keeping this game tight.
What a time to be alive. Rocket League coming to its pinnacle of expectations have been thrown out the window. Window's been locked. The key's been thrown away.
Inside or out?
And it's bulletproof glass. I don't know. It's been put in the dirt, so probably outside. Depends which side you want to go in for. However, with Retirement Home, I know that they want to be moving up the ladder. And with a game like this, it's way too close for comfort. Now going against State of Mind's next. Legs are silly. They're able to get the ball back up to this side of the field. Elusive runs up. It bounces over, but not in front of Daze, who is the last member of defense. Pushing up to the ball is Kia. Over Daze again. Plitz back here too. Sammy, he's going to be up for the ball. This is going to be angled into the backboard. Hits it again, and the second touch was able to regain control. Sammy picks up the boost and rotates back and getting cornered out. That's a silly. Now have to be careful where they place this ball. Zen dribbles it over the top. Who's going to reach up for it? It's a great pass, and it's reacted well by Plitz.
Oh, that was sick. What a great dribble, setting it up for his teammates. I'd love to hear the comms right now as he's like, it's all yours, and Plitz just bangs that away.
Remember when we said Zen stepping up and Plitz helps him stabilize, punch the ball again. Same punch a lot. 55 seconds left. Legs are silly. It's like a boxing ring, one that has no mouth guards for Retirement Home. And it's hurting. Zen, he's found a weakness. This is Legs are silly.
Yeah, the death knells are starting to ring as Legs are silly slowly takes down Retirement Home piece by piece.
But this is a 2-goal lead with 47 seconds remaining, and this is a major upset because for league play, we had, okay, top 6, maybe this is our bottom 2, and now it's been switched up again. 45 seconds, Legs are silly, holding the key. And another moment where we say that our OCE league play is tighter than ever. For Legs are silly, it's going to be a big win, but Retirement Home, they do find one, and now they've got 30 seconds to get another.
The comeback is real, just in the nick of time. With 32 left on the clock, they managed to find another opening, and you can tell they were desperate for it. Both of them trying to find that clincher.
30 seconds, can they do it? Legs are silly have been in control for the past 3 games, and Retirement Home only now coming back strong. It was 1 goal. Zen's back up for the ball around this corner. Key is up as well. For Legs are silly, this series win is going to mean so damn much. For Retirement Home, it's going to put them in a very difficult position. Daze is up for the ball, pops it there, and in comes Elusive. Away from this corner, Zen hops up, and this is 10 seconds left remaining. Clears from Legs are silly.
They had that play. You could see that they had that 3-man pass play set up, but the touch going backwards completely destroyed it, and with it, their opportunities.
Kia pops the ball up. This is one last chance for Retirement Home. They just have to get it away from this corner. Kia hits it up, blocked by Sammy, but they're not done. They are running out of boost, but as the ball hits the ground, Legs are silly have come back with the reverse sweep, and they've taken it over Retirement Home.
What a comeback as well, right? You're sitting that far behind. You're getting 2-0. The first 2 games, convincing stomps to Retirement Home. And now they just had no chance as Legs are silly turned it right back around.
I think there's a moment in league play when you say, look, these are the standing, these are the results, but in league play week 2, that is definitely not the time. For Legs are silly, this upset means so much for our league play, Emmy.
That was huge. Legs are silly. They could have been down and out. They got it to game 5, a full reverse sweep. And we really saw Plitz step it up in that series. And I think it was all back on the back of Zen stepping back. I mean, he didn't have a lot of effect on that series, but he didn't get in the way a lot.
That's it. Too many cooks was always the name of their game.
But I had in my back of my mind, like, Sammy for one of our maybe contenders later in the day for the MVP for Open by HP. But this is a really good day for Sammy, I feel.
I'd give the contender to Plitz, but Sammy had a big game 4 and 5.
Yeah.
That was the difference. That was the big turning point, I think. Second half of game 4, when previously it was just Plitz putting in all the work. Sammy stepped up and got a couple of really good goals. In game 5, he had that blinder in the top right corner to get them that early lead.
That was a really strange game in my feeling, though, because Retirement Home came out really strong. And I feel like Legs are silly for the first time have actually adapted to a team.
Well, the problem with Retirement Home is that they weren't trusting each other. They were not passing. Elusive was solo carrying them essentially in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
But he was not getting the passes off, and so all they had to do was shut down that one play, and Legs of Silly found their offensive rotations, which meant they no longer needed to worry about the defense.
Yeah, and you could see it where they had like 2 minutes of just holding them there. Well, I think it was game 3. And then it's like, yeah, just dragged it out.
You don't need to worry about, mistakes on defense if you're never there.
But such an important series win for Legs Are Silly. And it means next Retirement Home have to take on Tainted Minds, which is going to be a harder monster to face. So we're going to have a 5-minute break. And when we return, that series coming up next.